This week on Not Another Movie podcast, a Marvel alumni jumps ship and goes over to DC.
Activision puts out a Call of Duty, you like that, for a new cinematic universe.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger says, I'll be back to the Terminator franchise. What are you laughing for? It's a good impression.
That was perfect. It was great.
Welcome back to episode 10 of Not Another Movie podcast. I am Sean P.S.
And I am Sean Kelly, double digits.
Yeah, it is. Well, for this episode anyway.
Yeah.
All right, we'll start off as we usually do with the trailers that dropped this week, and there were two very good ones, in my opinion. And the first one was War for the Planet of the Apes.
Yes, very epically amazing. Each of these trailers has gotten consecutively better.
I've got a feeling that this trilogy could almost be perfect.
Wow, that's saying something.
The first one was awesome. The second one was awesome. The trailer for this looks really good, and I've got a feeling that they're going to hit 3 for 3 on this one.
Look, I can definitely see that happening. It's just been, I think, a real surprise hit when people. I remember when the original was being remade, there was a lot of, I think, blowback, but all critics have been silenced as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I remember seeing the trailer for the first one. I'm like, ugh, that looks fucking horrendous. And then the reviews came out, and I'm like, oh, hang on. And then I went and watched it, and yeah, it blew my fucking mind. So I really hope that this is going to be the one that goes 3 for 3. Usually the third one is a letdown. So fingers crossed Matt Reeves has dotted his I's and crossed his T's, and you know, this could be the perfect trilogy.
I think something that has really helped it is following Caesar. Like, that's the interesting story.
Yeah.
It would have really failed, I think, if they'd focused on, a human character of, what's his face? Not Cheech. What's his, bloody...
James Franco.
Green Goblin. James Franco, yeah. If they focused on his character throughout the trilogy, that would have been a real mistake.
Yeah, no,
following
I agree with
Caesar
you there.
It's been fantastic. And to see his evolution just in the trailer of this film, it's just to see how the world has weighed him down. Somebody did an image where they put the three faces of Caesar throughout the three films next to each other, and it shows just in how he's been abused and how he's risen against that. Incredible.
Well, his character looks to be progressing even further. Like, in the last film, he kind of had still a bit of broken English, where now he sounds like he's speaking real fluent English. And basically, the war has come to them. They haven't gone out and seek this war.
Yeah,
and
exactly right.
He's got no choice now but to fight.
That's what gets me. Like, the last film was really the breaking point as far as, Caesar wanting the peaceful solution and having that basically spat back in his face, even by his own people. And now it just looks like the man gives no fucks and he's gonna throw down.
Yeah, well, the first one, or the second one, sorry, he was still having the struggles with the other ape, Cobra. So now he's finally settled his own. And it looks like he was leading a peaceful life, but now the war's come back to him, and push comes to shove.
I'm keen to see Woody Harrelson as the villain in this, but a lot to live up to with Cobra. Cobra was, I reckon, one of the top cinematic villains
of all time.
Well, close to, maybe, certainly the last sort of 5 years.
Okay.
Cobra was brutal.
I agree with you. The relationship and the tension between the two was fantastic to see.
And he's scary.
Yeah, he just had that look. He had that scarred face, which even made him more villainous.
Yes. But yeah, really looking forward to this one.
All right, the second trailer that dropped, and I again shit on the first one when it came out. But this one, slowly changed my mind a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit, and that was The Mummy. It's actually starting to look like a mummy film rather than a Tom Cruise film with a mummy in it.
Here is the thing that I do not get about these films, and this includes the Brendan Fraser version, which I love. Why, if they want to, because it showed a bit more of the story in this trailer. So the mummy in this film was a queen who did some bad stuff back in ancient Egypt, so they cursed her for eternity. Why do they give them superpowers when they curse bad people?
Yeah, that's true.
How is that a bad thing? In both of those versions, they come back bad people, but with the power to end the world. It's just it seems. I really hope they address that because it seems quite a glaring issue.
Yeah, it's highly doubtful that they'll address that
Yeah.
because most of the time they just consider their audience dummies who just look at the pretty lights on the screen.
Yeah.
Which generally this is what type of movie is pointed
It does
towards.
look pretty pretty.
You and myself included.
Yeah, exactly.
But I didn't mind the that they kind of made this there's the Suicide Squad version of the Mummy trailer with the use of the Painted Black song.
Yeah.
They used heavily cuts on the drumming of that, kind of like what the Suicide did with Bohemian Rhapsody. So I don't
There
know
was that
if
really weird line of Tom Cruise when he said, "So that's it, huh? We're some kind of the mummy." I thought that wasn't necessary, but okay.
yes, I don't know more if I like the trailer for the trailer itself or the fact that they were able to incorporate Painted Black, which is a song that I love,
Yeah, it's
and
super
make it
sick.
look awesome. So I'm kind of sitting on the fence there, and it's another one where the reviews would have to be good for me to see it. I think.
Yeah, I think they've done a good job of starting to set up this monster universe, which I'm going to buy into just quietly, even if the Mummy isn't that great. We saw a lot more of Russell Crowe's Dr. Jekyll in this one, and it really played into that notion of Tom Cruise's character coming back from death and being chosen by the Mummy. So I wonder if is he like supposed to be a Van Helsing type of character, or do we know anything else about who he is?
No, we don't. So,
Yeah.
maybe keep it that way until the film comes out.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I still think he's too big of an actor for this film.
Seems that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It seems like it wants to be a franchise that you don't have a tentpole actor who's going to come back again and again. I don't know. He did do Jack Reacher, and they sort of weren't great. So.
But considering, he's doing the Mission Impossible still, he's doing the Jack Reacher. As I said, he just seems to be the same character in different settings.
Oh, yeah, he plays Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
He gave up acting many years ago, and I think he's a good actor.
So do I.
But he's not. I don't think he's doing it for the craft anymore.
No, I agree with you. Surely he's got enough money. You can go do an indie film.
Yeah.
All right, well, the biggest shot that was made across the bow between Marvel and DCEU happened this week. And that's DCU signed the Marvel Golden Boy, Josh Whedon, to direct, produce, and write a Batgirl film for the DCEU.
Yeah.
This
I'll
was
believe it when it comes
massive
out in
news.
cinemas. Yeah. I'm excited, but I'll believe it when I'm sitting in the cinema and it's playing to me.
You couldn't have asked for a better person
Oh,
to write and direct this film, considering the credentials he's got already with Buffy and how awesome she was.
Yeah.
If this could be half as good as what Buffy was, we're in for a hell of a treat.
I'm hoping it would be better. I think, given as much control as all of that, and the way that his writing has gotten better over the years. I mean, Buffy is great, but every project he does seems to be better and better. So if this does go through, I think it would be a spectacular film.
Marvel must be reaming at this news, to be honest.
Well, look, they can cry themselves to sleep in their bed of money.
Yeah, well, this is true. They can wipe away their tears with $100 bills.
Exactly right. I'm curious, though, because apparently the version of Batgirl that they're using is the Batgirl who became Oracle. She was shot in the spine, or just shot by the Joker, and that injured her spine, so she couldn't walk for a while. But she's since gone through, treatment and is now, walking and better than ever. So I'm curious whether this will fit. Is that the same Joker that we've seen?
I hope so.
The Jared Leto Joker, because there was this great fan theory going around at the time that the reason that Jared Leto's Jokers had silver teeth was because the Batman had done a number on him after he'd beaten up Robin and killed Robin. So it'd be really interesting if this played into that as well. So, they did the whole killing joke. He shot Barbara Gordon and then he killed Robin. Batman went ham on him, and now this Batgirl is just sort of getting over it.
Yeah, so it's, maybe they might tell that story in flashbacks and then we're in the modern time, or, as to where she fits in the timeline of all of this, I don't know. But that would be awesome if it does tie into exactly what you said, to the Jared Leto.
Yep.
And then there was also a line that Commissioner Gordon said at the end of the Justice League, and he said something like, you're starting to play well with others again. So, maybe there is that backstory that you just mentioned with a Robin and a Batgirl.
Yep.
So who knows? But if it does tie in, and I love the idea of that. This isn't necessarily an origin story, but kind of like a rebirth of Barbara Gordon after being attacked by the Joker. That could be really, really cool.
And it'd be cool if the Joker was the main antagonist of this film, because I think that could work really well for the Joker, meaning someone who's quite psychological, gets into your head. So this is really about her, overcoming the new menace that is the Joker. We've seen Batman and the Joker quite a lot. It'd be great to see a Batgirl or a Batwoman and the Joker. I think that could be cool.
And actually shows how ruthless this Joker actually is. He's just got no consequences at all to his actions. So he just does anything that he wants.
Yep.
And it's more of a shoot first, ask questions later type Joker, where the Heath Ledger one was more methodical, I would say, plan things out, where this one seems to be, as I said, shoot first, ask questions later. Yeah,
exactly right. As long as, look, I think this film's going to be very good, hopefully, with Joss Whedon. As long as Batgirl and Batman don't end up having sex on a random building, we'll be fine. Thank you, Killing Joke movie.
Yeah, that's a Killing Joke reference, the animated movie that came out last year.
If you can call it a movie,
yeah. Horrendous. All right. Well, the curse of the gaming movies has not seemed to distract other people from wanting to jump into this universe. This week, the Call of Duty Chiefs are saying they're going to plan a cinematic universe. Not just a film, a universe.
I love this quote. It's got the same... who is this bloke? I don't know, one of the people putting it together. It's got the same high adrenaline, high energy aesthetic as the game, but not a literal adaptation. It's going to be a big tentpole Marvel-esque movie. You can't just say it's going to be a Marvel-esque movie. Like, that was clearly part of the pitch. Like, let's make a Marvel movie, but set in the Call of Duty universe.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Considering that they don't have a massive backlog of characters that the Marvel-esque universe does have, the Call of Duty films do follow certain characters, but you don't have a whole world of them.
Have you played the Call of Duty games at all?
I have.
Okay, so they're foreign to me.
The action in these games is incredible. So if they can just capture what they've done in the games, it could be really good. There was another quote saying there'll be a film that feels more like the Black Ops game, the story behind the story, and then there'll be a film set on the Modern Warfare series that looks like what it's like to look through the eyes of the world during the wartime, and then there'll be something that's a little bit more hybrid of the two. So it sounds like they do have a plan. Whether they can actually execute on that plan, because a lot of game developers haven't yet on a film, who knows? But as I said, the action is incredible, so whether they can tap into that, I'm not sure.
This could be the one. Who knows? The one that breaks the curse. The gaming curse. We will see.
Yeah.
Should have been you, Warcraft.
It should have been, but maybe the sequel. All right, well, this week, Arnold Schwarzenegger has taken a break from slamming Donald Trump and given a movie quote for a change. And I've got a personal request of you. I want
of me?
Yeah, of you.
Yeah.
I want you to read out the statement that he did in your best Arnold voice.
Is that because I'm so proficient at my impersonations?
I just love your impersonations, so this will be the highlight of my day if you can make this happen.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure.
All right, so this is Schwarzenegger. This is saying he's not done with the Terminator. All right. Now, just so you know, though, when I start talking next, it's still going to be me. It's not going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. I didn't get him on the phone.
We don't have a direct line to Schwarzenegger. Just so
exactly right.
Yeah.
He cut that weeks ago. All right. I don't want to call it fake news like the president calls it. Pretty good so far. But I think people just write things. I have no idea why. Just because Paramount doesn't want to pick up the Terminator franchise, you have 15 other studios willing to do it. That's pretty good. Yeah, that doesn't mean the Terminator franchise is finished, right? I like that. Yeah, a bit weird at the end there. But yeah, the idea here is that he's keen to push another Terminator movie.
Yeah. Hang on, there's still another statement you haven't read out yet.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, the second part.
It's the whole second half, sorry. I'll get Arnie back. Scene. It just means they are on their way to negotiate with another studio. But I can't give you the details of that. They'll announce that. But yes, the Terminator franchise Is it okay? I can hear the Borat coming in. Which you said a couple of weeks ago.
That's what I was hoping for.
The Terminator franchise never finished. And remember that after 2018, this is the interesting part. James Cameron is getting it back, the rights that is, and then it will continue on.
Good job.
Got to be crazy at the end there. But James Cameron getting the rights back after 2018 is pretty good news.
Yeah, so it was a story that we spoke about a couple of weeks ago, and they want Deadpool director Tim Miller to direct possibly the next Terminator franchise with James Cameron involved. So this is good. I'm actually glad that Paramount are not going to do a sequel to Terminator Genesis, because that was horrendous. And, Tim Miller and James Cameron, Tim Miller's only done Deadpool, but if you can combine those two, it does sound promising.
I agree. And if they do the story where Arnie is playing the human being that the Terminator model was based on, that could be really cool.
Yeah, I agree. And off topic, your impression was actually very good. I actually couldn't hear Borat this time, so you're improving a lot.
I've practiced day in, day out, and ready for times like this.
All right, well, in other Schwarzenegger news, both he and Sylvester Stallone are dropping out of the Expendables universe.
I didn't think Stallone could drop out of the Expendables universe.
Well, this was basically his baby. He's the one who started it.
Yeah.
But reportedly, he's departing the franchise after he and the studio couldn't agree on the direction of the new film, including a director and script. Now, it's funny because he's written, I think, pretty much all of them, or co-wrote all of them, and he directed the first one. So, I'm surprised that the studio aren't letting him continue his baby, but rather than getting involved and putting someone else in charge.
I think what's going to happen is a few of the other key actors are going to drop out with Stallone. They're going to go to another studio and then make a movie called The Expandables or something similar. Because really, you can't. I don't see how you could take Stallone, because you said it is his baby. It's his franchise, really.
Yeah.
It would be completely strange without him in it.
I wasn't a fan of the series regardless, but you're right. It can't happen without him.
Yeah. Look, we're behind you, Sly. Even though, and I'm like you, I'm not a huge fan of the series, but I can see why they're liked, and I think it's still fun filmmaking. So we're behind you, Sly.
All right, well, this next piece of news made the internet groan all over the world. Last week we spoke about that Star Wars has an idea to have a film for the next 15 years, and apparently so does the Transformers. Michael Bay has come out and said that they've got approximately 14 stories ready to rock and roll for the Transformers universe, and I just went, oh, fuck my life.
Yeah. Now, look, to reiterate, when they say there are 14 stories to go, what they meant is they sat down and they had a bunch of different random words in a hat, and they just drew out like sets of 14 times. And that's their 14 plot. So I wouldn't say that they're far along.
As I said, until these movies stop making money, they're just going to keep pumping it out.
Exactly right. We're going to see Optimus Prime Saves Christmas before 2030. I'm telling you right now.
And I think this could be a really good franchise, but Michael Bay has to step aside. I think he's done everything he possibly could with this, and it's just become ridiculous, kind of like the Fast and Furious one. I didn't mind the first film. I actually quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did as well.
But yeah, they've just gotten so stupid over the time that they need a different take, and hopefully we might get maybe a semi-relaunch or a reboot in the next couple of years, which could turn the direction around.
Yeah, because it's a shame that first film was so good. So it does need that at least a soft reboot, because the quality dipped very, very quickly. Yeah. It hasn't been like a slow decline over the films. It was, as soon as we saw racist African American robots in the second one, that was the end.
Yeah, that was it for me as well. And I actually haven't even watched the one since, so I was done with that one. All right, well, another franchise that is looking at a partial reboot, and that's the Shrek franchise. And this is one that's been quiet for a long time, and I'm quite surprised because they were absolute money makers when they all, four of them came out.
Yeah.
And yeah, the writer has come out and said that he's finished the script and he's really in love with it. It's personal to him, so I don't know if he sees himself as an ogre. I'm not sure.
Well, he has layers. We know that.
Yeah. But DreamWorks was sold to Universal, and now They've got the Minion franchise, which is the Despicable Me franchise, and now they're looking to have another one, and they're kind of rebooting the Shrek franchise.
And the way that they're milking the Despicable Me universe shows you what they could do with Shrek. But for my mind, Shrek is one that could lend itself to a universe. I mean, it's got all those really interesting characters that have been set up. You look at them in a quirky, interesting way. It could have. I mean, what else is going on in different parts of the kingdom? I think that could work out.
I'm actually surprised that the donkey never got a spin-off film, to be honest. If there was one character that would lead his own spin-off, definitely the donkey. He's basically the standout of the franchise.
He works as a sidekick, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, but I reckon he could have his own adventure.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that Puss in Boots got one before Donkey.
That's true. And that was pretty solid.
Maybe Antonio Banderas is cheaper than Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, well, look, he's got the voice, man. I'd listen to Antonio Banderas all day, every day.
Kind of offended by that, but...
So
Why don't you get him to do a podcast then?
I keep trying. I'm like, we'll call it the Antonio Show. It's all good. He won't have it.
Still wasn't buying it?
No, I wasn't buying it. And he was like, get out of my room.
You pervert. All right, well, last week we gushed about the It trailer, and this week it has come to fruition that it has smashed all records across social media, YouTube, and all other video channels. In its first 24 hours, it was reportedly viewed 197 million times, and that's more than 81 million over its it's only 1.8 million on Facebook alone.
It's incredible. What's going on? Why are we breaking new records? Is it every trailer that seems to come out? Is it because of social media? Is that the reason?
I think so. Well, the last previous record holder was the Fate and the Furious, and that recorded 139 million views in one day. So this has gone out and smashed it by over 60 million. And then Beauty and the Beast at 128, 50 Shades Darker was 114 million, and The Force Awakens was only 112 million views.
I find that amazing.
So do I. I've got a feeling that the next one is going to smash all records.
Yep. But as a property, I guess it's kind of well known. It's Stephen King, I guess. Maybe it just has that broader appeal because Stephen King has been around for so long.
I just think they've done a fantastic job with the trailer, and everyone was terrified about it. And social media lights up when there's something scary or there's something that you want to be spooked, and everyone like, oh, maybe I'll just have a quick look. But I think it's something that you mentioned before. A view registers after 3 or 4 seconds when it starts playing. Yeah. So even if you're scrolling and you quickly have a look and it starts playing for 3 seconds, that counts as a hit. So, some of those numbers are a bit dubious, but good on it. I thought it was an awesome trailer.
Yeah.
Deserves the recognition it gets.
I agree. I was reading an interesting article yesterday about clowns in America are very upset with this film because it's making their job a lot harder.
Yeah, I did hear that as well. You're always going to
It's not even out yet.
Yeah, well, that was only the teaser trailer, so wait till the full trailer comes out.
When you think about it, it could destroy the industry. Who's going to want a birthday clown after that film comes out?
Well, there could be a new market for the clowns. Maybe they can just start dressing up as Pennywise, and they've got they've got a gig for life. Do scary parties instead of little kids' birthday parties. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. All right. Well, one of the first bombs of the year has just happened, and that was the Ghost in the Shell. It opened this week over 3,440 screens and only made $19 million domestically.
Which is a shame. I really wanted this film to do well.
It actually got beaten by The Boss Baby. The Boss Baby was number 1 this week.
That's gotta hurt.
That's a real slap in the face.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, the Paramount Studios are blaming the whitewashing controversy of this film. People were unhappy that Scarlett Johansson was cast as the lead because it is it a Japanese property?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, again, this day and age, I actually agree. There's no reason. I'm sure there's so many talented actors that could have filled this role that had the look of the original. Again, why they go to someone of Caucasian features, I'm not sure. Look, she is the highest grossing female actress of all time. Maybe that was a reason.
I'm sure that was the reason.
But yeah, it didn't pan off for Paramount Pictures.
The only thing that gets me about that is, and I completely agree, it would have been great. I mean, we've got to see some diversity on the screen because it just becomes bland and boring otherwise, and this would have been the perfect opportunity. It's a shame in this case because the original creator of the character and the director of the film, have come out and said they're wrapped with Scarlett Johansson's casting.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, because she is, it's a cyborg body in the film, race doesn't really come into it. So it is a bit of a shame that if that's what's weighing the film down, that's what it is. I'd rather it didn't do well because it was a bad movie. But
from all accounts, the reviews weren't that bad.
Yeah, I've heard it's lovely to look at, but it's it doesn't have a lot of depth to it.
Yeah,
but that's okay. Look, I'll probably still get along to see it. Hopefully, if they do this kind of thing again, they do, cast Japanese actors. I'd love to see them do a live action Ninja Scroll.
Well, I'm actually surprised because we've spoken about it before about the money coming out of Asia. So you would have thought that they would have tried and target that big cashola that could have been for this film.
Oh, we live, we learn.
Again with the Great Wall film as well. So that's two now that they've tried to do this and it hasn't worked.
Well, I'm pretty sure the Great Wall was a Chinese production for the most part.
Yeah, but even still, like there've been so many massive movies come out of Asia that had Asian leads. This one could have been, the Great Wall could have been one of those. Yeah. But you live and learn.
You do. Well,
hopefully, not our money.
Unfortunately, they don't live and learn because they keep making the same mistakes.
Yeah. Well, talking about taking the same mistakes, you've brought to my attention that 2017 is shaping up to look exactly like 2014. Which pretty much shows the studio machine just keeps pumping out the same film every 3 years.
Yep.
Did you want to go over the comparisons?
Yeah, no, I didn't put this together myself. This is a couple of other people pointing this out, but it's pretty hilarious. So in 2014, we've got Guardians of the Galaxy, widely regarded, not by everybody, but by many as a fantastic Marvel film. And of course, this year we're getting Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So one there. We had Transformers Age of Extinction in 2014, speaking of our Autobot Decepticon friends before. And this year, of course, we're getting Transformers The Last Night. We had X-Men Days of Future Past in 2014. This year we had Logan. Lego Movie in 2014, outstanding hit. And this year, the Lego Batman movie. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes 2014. War of the Planet of the Apes 2017. And of course, Amazing Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man Homecoming. Now there are quite a few coincidences there.
Yeah. More than coincidence, it just shows that how the production of these films happen. It's every 3 years. So in 2020, we should be expecting another Guardians, another Transformers, another X-Men film, another Lego film.
Yeah.
Whether there is another Planet of the Apes film, I'm not sure. Whether there's another trilogy. And probably Spider-Man Homecoming Part 2.
I'm hoping we see it before 2020.
I wouldn't have thought so.
Yeah, let's hope. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. But look, if that's the slate, I'm happy to have those, except for maybe Transformers, but the rest of them, keep making them.
Yeah, but as I said, it's quite funny. I wouldn't mind seeing 3 years before that and seeing if there was another Transformers, another X-Men, another Planet of the Apes film, another Spider-Man film, because there probably was.
Yeah, that's... We'll do some research. We'll find those patterns out.
Yeah. All right, and lastly, before we move on to our segment of the day, there was a really nice documentary trailer this week, and that was for Heath Ledger. Basically, sounds like he had a camera with him the whole time. So I think they kind of put a documentary together about the life of Heath Ledger and, how his life was in front of and behind the camera as well.
It seems really sad watching it because, as a couple of people in the documentary say, Heath Ledger, he was acting, but what he really wanted to do was direct. And I think he would have been a fantastic director because he made so many good decisions as an actor. He understood the craft of filmmaking, and it would have been fantastic to see him as a director, the stories that he could have told.
And it's funny, like in that trailer, like you see obviously a lot of Heath Ledger, and I still can't see the Joker. Like he transformed himself so much that I still can't see Heath Ledger behind all the makeup of the Joker. Obviously, you can see Jack Nicholson as the Joker, but I still cannot see Heath Ledger.
You need to go watch those Tom Waits interviews. Have you seen those?
No, I haven't seen
There's a Tom Waits interview. I think he might have been on it was an Australian talk show or whatever. And some people, I think it might have Heath Ledger said it, that he based the Joker on this character. When you watch that, it's incredible.
Okay. And
and you really see the genius of the Joker.
Yeah, as I said, he's completely transformed and chameleon. And I cannot see, every time I watch The Dark Knight, I just cannot see Heath Ledger. It's incredible.
No. Yeah, it's the performance of a generation.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a shame that we never got to see a sequel because I reckon it would have been awesome.
Oh, it would have been impressive.
All right, well, we're trying a new segment today, and we didn't really discuss a title for it, but I'm going to give it a title. We're calling it "Shit You Didn't Know."
Shit you didn't know.
Yeah,
I love it.
You like it?
Yeah, it's good.
I reckon it's a winner. All right, well, today we're going to talk about basically a film that we both love, and it's a film that I constantly gush about, and it's the film that got me into loving pop culture and movies itself, and that's the 1989 Batman.
Yeah, so in this segment, though, we don't always talk about Burton's Batman. We talk about a different film each time.
Yeah. But now we're just going to give you some trivia tidbits of, maybe some stories that you didn't know about the 1989 Batman.
You want to kick us off?
I will. Apparently, Mel Gibson was the first choice to play Bruce Wayne / Batman, but he turned it down because he was already committed to Lethal Weapon 2.
What a world we would have lived in.
That would have been quite interesting, actually. As much as I loved Keaton's take on it, I love Mel Gibson in anything. So he would have been a bit too intense.
Well, I don't think so. I mean, during the Lethal Weapon period, we saw that light-hearted part of Mel Gibson. Mm-hmm. And I think he could have played a great Bruce Wayne in that kind of the same way that Keaton really played that aloof billionaire Bruce Wayne. I think he could have done that quite well. Yeah. His Batman, I don't know, but I think he could have done Bruce Wayne very well.
Well, apparently there were a lot of actors considered for the role of the Joker. William Dafoe, David Bowie, John Lithgow, which is quite interesting, Tim Curry, James Wood, Peter O'Toole, and Ernest Borgnine.
Yeah, which is
Ernest
strange.
Borgnine would have been a bit old, I reckon, to play the Joker at that time. But all of those names sound pretty damn cool, in my opinion.
I would love to have seen David Bowie as the Joker.
Yeah, even Tim Curry and John Lithgow.
John Lithgow Tim Curry's almost cheating, though.
Yeah, well, considering, Pennywise.
Yeah.
But John Lithgow, he's renowned for being a comedy actor, but there was a series called Dexter. One season he played this serial killer, and he just played it so cold that it would have been quite interesting to have, both the comedy side and that dead killer side of John Lithgow come out in the Joker.
Yeah. Well, imagine that. So Mel Gibson versus John Lithgow in the original Batman. I'd be down for that.
Well, apparently there was one actor who was offered the role of the Joker, and that was Robin Williams. Apparently when Jack Nicholson hesitated, they offered the role to Robin Williams. He accepted it. But then the producers basically just used him as bait for Jack Nicholson to bite and signed on to play the Joker.
Now, I love Robin Williams, but I can't see this.
He would have been a lot better for the Riddler.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably a bit too much for the Joker.
Yeah, which is a shame. Actually, I think it would have been a cool Penguin as well, just quietly.
Yeah.
I think you get that kind of intensity.
Yeah.
But like that kind of dark intensity, whereas different to, the heightened intensity of the Joker. But real shame. It caused a rift between him and the studio, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Well, he was offered to play the Riddler, but he was still so hurt by what happened there that he refused.
And I've got to say, Jim Carrey as the Riddler was pretty good.
Yeah, he was. He was probably
for all the faults of that film. Yeah.
This is my favourite story. Jack Nicholson. He didn't take a wage for the movie, but instead he received a percentage for the gross of the film. And the film was an absolute mega hit, and it was a cultural phenomenon. And he ended up taking home $60 million.
Which is pretty incredible.
Yeah, and as of 2003, it was the single movie record for an actor's salary.
Well done. He pulled a... what's her name? I keep going to say Anne Hathaway. Who's the Hermione Granger chick? He pulled a Granger. Or shit. Rather, probably shouldn't say that. That's a bit weird when you say it like that. this idea, if I was ever, when I, finally make it big in Hollywood, this is definitely what I'm going to be doing. Just taking the gross of all the different films I'm making.
You're thinking of Emma Watson.
Emma Watson, that's it. Yeah, probably why she's not returning my calls. I keep getting her name wrong.
All right. Well, there's a famous line in the film, and it's at the start, and Batman pulls one of the thugs up to his chest, and the thug goes, "Who are you?" And he goes, "I'm Batman." Well, apparently that wasn't the line that was in the script. Michael Keaton made that up on the day, and the line that was in the script was, "I am the Knight."
Which is funny, because you'd think it was the other way around, because the "I'm Batman" line seems like it's cool, and Michael Keaton does a fantastic job of doing it, and it's created something like, people say, "I'm Batman" all the time. But I don't know, it just seems strange, like there would be "I'm Batman" in the script and he'd make up "I am the Knight" because it sounds kind of cooler. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I actually love that line. I mean, as I said, I was obsessed with this movie as a kid.
Yeah.
So I would actually grab my sister by her collar and like, "I'm Batman." And then in our we had a lounge room and it had a step up. And then I'd put like a towel around my back and then like jump off the cliff and hold the thing out like I was Batman from that shot where he jumps off the top of the roof. So,
This was recently, though, wasn't it?
Well, I have a double-story house now, so I might try it off the top of the stairs.
yeah, do it. But wouldn't you just say, "I am the Knight"? I am the Knight.
Yeah, but as I said, the line is just so...
it's cool. It's like a punch in the face.
It is. As I said, I'm not going to agree with you on that one. I would rather stay with "I'm Batman."
Yeah, look, I'm tempted.
Simple.
Yeah, all right, he's a simple guy, except for the whole, bat suit thing.
Yeah. Well, Michael Keaton's casting as Batman. Now you got to remember this is pre-internet, so just remember when Ben Affleck was announced as Batman. This would have been 10 times, 100 times worse back then because Michael Keaton was basically known as a comedy actor. I don't know. I can't remember if Beetlejuice was before or after Batman.
I'll find it.
But either way, people were really pissed off that this comedy actor was going to be playing Batman. And again, before internet, comic book fans, 50,000 of them, sent in protest letters to Warner Brothers saying they did not want Michael Keaton as Batman. Even Batman's creator, Bob Kane, was questioning the casting of this role.
That is pretty incredible. And as you say, pre-internet, for that many people to get their jimmies rustled, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah. Well, as we said, this film became a pop culture phenomenon. As I said, in 1989, you only really had the Superman films from the late 70s, early 80s, and that was it. So, and then the TV version of Batman was, laughable, would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
very camp, very fun.
It was. So to have, a real darker tone, it got everyone excited. And everyone was so excited that even the trailer itself became a phenomenon. People were actually buying tickets to a movie just so they could see the trailer and then leaving after that trailer was screened.
Again, pre-internet. Yeah. This is incredible. I guess that's probably what drove it, though, because, they couldn't just Google it.
Yeah. Well, basically, as I said, this is... The trailer became such a phenomenon that people were actually selling a bootleg copy of the trailer at comic book conventions on VHS. God. So as I said, it's a completely different world that we live in.
Yeah.
And, now someone holds up their phone at a screening at Comic-Con and it's on the internet within days. But you actually had to, had that secret underground of exchanging VHSs just to watch a trailer for this
railroad.
Film. It is. It's crazy. It's as I said, it's laughable now considering how easy it is to watch trailers and accessible it is. But yeah, to actually have to go to comic book conventions to get a bootleg copy. And a bootleg copy meant that you actually had to take a full-size video camera into the theater and record the screen. So it's not like you were able to hide something, quite small. You had to take a full-size video camera. And I remember the video cameras back in the late 80s. Yep. They were fucking massive. So to have someone game enough to take that into the theater is quite laughable.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
And the last piece... Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, it really was, speaking of how different it was to the original series, it pretty much was the gritty reboot. The original gritty reboot.
Yeah, pretty much.
But did well.
Yeah. And just on the last piece, that... and I didn't notice it. I mean, I was a kid back then when I saw it. But film audiences complained that the film was too dark. So when they released it on VHS... they actually had the film graded so it was a bit brighter and people could actually see it.
Well, that makes sense. You kind of want to see what's going on.
Yeah, well, if you want to watch a movie, you actually want to see it, so that would be that would be helpful.
It is one of those films I wish I could go back and watch again for the first time.
Yeah, it is cool. I was watching something. I don't know if you watched this show. It's actually really, really good. It's called The Goldbergs, and it's basically about a family in the 80s. And this week's episode was about the 1989 Batman. And they had a scene where the two boys are in the cinema, and they had Jack Nicholson's Joker up on the big screen. And just looking at that, you're like, fuck, he did look pretty good. So it has piqued my interest to maybe go back and watch it again.
All right, yeah, I'm going to check it out. Maybe it's going to be my homework this week.
All right, well, that's the end of our news segment. Shit you didn't know. Hopefully it was a success, and we might bring it back for another time.
I learned something, that's for sure.
All right, well, maybe we can put a post up on our page, and maybe we can ask our listeners to suggest a film that they want to hear some more shit about.
Ooh, that sounds good.
All right, well, I watched Beauty and the Beast this week. Actually, it'd been out for a while, and my wife wanted to see it, so I'm like, I wasn't in a rush to see it. And I got to admit, it was actually very, very good.
Yeah, even the new song.
Yeah, well, the Beast has his own song now, and yeah, as I said, it was quite different. And I hadn't watched the first film for a long time, so I couldn't remember if all the songs in there were the ones. But the film just had, like, I don't know if you go to, or if you're a fan of the theatre. Actually, you were in theatre productions, weren't you?
Yeah.
Well, this film was basically, it felt like a theatre production. Like, you just had these massive songs and these massive ensembles, and after the song finishes, like, you feel like clapping, you know, you do at the theatre that you want to applaud them, especially
just buy into that feeling, man.
Yeah, especially like the Be My Guest, that was really cool. It looked phenomenal on screen, and I was questioning the photorealism of the Beast when I saw the trailers.
Yes,
and I mentioned to you a couple of times, but yeah, it did look phenomenal on screen. So they did fix any issues that I thought they might have had.
Good.
Yeah.
I will have to check it out.
Emma Watson was fabulous as Belle. She wasn't phenomenal, I would say, but she was very good. But the other cast, Ewan McGregor as Lumiere and Ian McKellen.
Ewan McGregor as Lumiere?
Yeah.
Holy shit, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, and Sir Ian McCallum as Clogsworth and Emma Thompson as Mrs. Potts.
Wow.
Their voices lend quite nicely to the ensemble. And the guy who played the Beast, I think he's in...
he was in Downton Abbey, that's what I know.
Downton Abbey, yeah. He was very good as well. So overall, if you're a fan of the animated movie, I don't think you'll be disappointed with this.
Oh, well, you convinced me. I'll have to check it out.
No, I think you'll enjoy it. As I said, if you're a fan of that and a fan of Disney, and it's, as I said, it's that they're going to be remaking every single animated film until the last one doesn't make any money. They've just nailed it on the head, and I'm looking forward to seeing The Lion King now.
Speaking of, and we spoke about this, Lion King's going to be awesome. And Mulan, I think I'm really looking forward to as well. And that is one film where they've said, and along with Aladdin, where they're going to be casting correctly, geographically.
Yeah, they won't be whitewashing that one.
Yeah, exactly right.
And a TV show that we've spoken about, and I finally finished it this week, and that was Iron Fist. Now, a couple of days before it got released, it was getting slammed by the critics. But I got to admit, I actually liked it. I didn't think it was as bad as what everyone was saying. Don't get me wrong, it's not as good as Daredevil or Jessica Jones, or even the first half of Luke Cage. But it's definitely watchable, and it's enjoyable, and you can see all the connections to the previous three characters. So,
okay,
as I said, I don't understand why it was slammed so much. And it's been
a
massive hit for Netflix. It's been their top-rated show so far this year. And, unfortunately, you don't get to see Iron Fist as yet, which the producers came out and said before it was released. But the story itself was quite good. The performances were good. And as I said, seeing the connections to the previous three were really, really exciting to see what they can do now with the Defenders.
And did you see the teaser they put up for the Defenders now?
Yes. So it looks like August the 18th is when we're going to be dropping the Defenders.
And they've started filming Jessica Jones and Daredevil, which are the two that I'm most excited to see, particularly Jessica Jones.
Well, I'm actually looking forward to seeing The Punisher first. I reckon that'll be awesome having his own show.
Good one. Man, okay, now you got me excited. I'm going to go and watch this series now.
Yeah. And I still hope that there's going to be some link between the Avengers and the Defenders.
Just something.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, you're not going to get one of them to appear in the show, one of the Avengers.
Mm.
But there's no reason why the Defenders couldn't make an appearance in the Infinity War.
Yeah, that could be cool. Even just a quick shot. I always remember in the X-Men cartoon in the 90s, the classic cartoon series, there was one shot where there was some world-defining event. I can't remember. Everything, like all buildings were falling down, etc. And there was one shot where you saw Spider-Man's arm come into frame, spew out some web, and stop these people being crushed by rubble. And that, I lost my shit. So, like, that's all it needs. Just a quick shot of, like, things going down in New York and the Defenders there helping people.
Yeah, especially Spider-Man. Spider-Man is the one that you do want to see have that link. Because he comes from Queens and a lot of his action takes place around New York City, there's no reason why they couldn't just have a little bit of a hint. Just a tease.
Tease us, please, Marvel. We love it.
Just put the tip in. Just the tip. That's all we need. We don't need the whole thing. Just the tip.
All right.
All right. Well, on that note, I think that wraps up episode 10 of Not Another Movie Podcast.
Yeah,
it did go quickly sour. I am Sean Pierce.
And I am Sean Kelly.
And let your week be a good week until next week.
Just Spider-Man's tip.
Just the tip. That's all it needs. That's what I tell my wife. Just the tip, please.
God. A poor woman.